so let's dive into something kind of incredible. Imagine like sharing a global stage with a prime minister and a teenager. All three of you are like champions of something called Human Fraternity.
Oh, wow.
Sounds wild, right?
Yeah.
Well, that's exactly what went down at the 2025 Zayed Awards. And we're going to pack it all for you.
It really makes you wonder, like, can individual actions actually, like, ripple out to create global peace? These awards almost, like, suggest they can.
I love that take.
Yeah.
We've got this fascinating article from Vatican News. It's about the award ceremony, which happened in Abu Dhabi on February 4th. So our deep dive mission today is to go beyond just like knowing who won. We want to understand why their work is so inspiring and how it all connects to this like bigger idea of global cooperation.
Right. Even the setting itself, like, hints at that connection. The Founders Memorial in Abu Dhabi, you've got these, like, modern skyscrapers against a backdrop of traditional gaff trees.
Oh, wow.
It's like a visual representation of bridging the old and the new, much like the award itself kind of aims to do.
Okay, so before we jump into the winners, let's talk about the award itself. So the Zayed Award is like deeply rooted in the document on human fraternity, which was signed by Pope Francis and the Grand Imam of Al-Azhar back in 2019.
Yeah, right.
This document was a pretty big deal. It emphasized dialogue and mutual respect between like different religions and cultures.
And it wasn't just like empty words. This document laid out some pretty practical suggestions. For example, it calls for like a review of educational materials and curricula to make sure they're promoting peace and understanding and not intolerance. It also urges like religious leaders to denounce violence and extremism in the name of religion.
Right. So the Zayed Award essentially carries on that legacy. It celebrates those who are actively putting these principles into action.
Exactly. And our first winner is a prime example of that. Mottley, the Prime Minister of Barbados. She's making waves with her like decisive actions against climate change. Her big goal is to get Barbados running on 100% renewable energy by 2030.
Ambitious for sure. But how does that tie into human fraternity? I mean, it's a noble goal. But is it really about like connecting humanity?
It absolutely is. Mottley recognizes that climate change doesn't discriminate. It impacts everyone, regardless of nationality, religion, or social status. And her commitment to renewable energy goes beyond just environmental protection. It's about creating a more sustainable and equitable future for everyone. In fact, at the ceremony, she said something that really stuck with me. She said, "We cannot separate people and the planet."
Wow, that's a powerful statement. It really drives home the interconnectedness of it all. But is that model truly feasible for all nations, or is it a privilege only some can afford?
That's a great question, and one that sparks a lot of debate. While Mottley's vision is inspiring, it's important to consider the different economic and political realities that countries face. Perhaps the key takeaway here isn't necessarily like replicating her exact model, but rather embracing the spirit of her approach, recognizing the interconnectedness of humanity and the planet, and working towards solutions that benefit everyone.
Okay, so we've got a global leader tackling climate change. Our next winner, though, shows us the power of direct aid, World Central Kitchen. This incredible NGO swoops in to provide food during humanitarian crises, and their impact is staggering. They've provided over 100 million meals to Palestinians in Gaza since the 2023 Israel-Hamas war alone.
It's not just about the numbers, though. It's about providing a lifeline, a sense of hope in the midst of unimaginable suffering, that they exemplify compassion in action, demonstrating the true meaning of solidarity in the face of crisis.
It's truly inspiring, but there's a heartbreaking side to their story, too. Remember in 2024, when 7 of their staff members were tragically killed in an Israeli drone strike in Gaza?
Right. A stark reminder of the risks these individuals take to serve others. At the ceremony, Aaron Gore, the CEO, read their names aloud, making it incredibly poignant. It was a powerful moment that brought the human cost of these conflicts into sharp focus.
Absolutely. It reminds us that behind the statistics are real people, individuals who dedicated their lives to helping others. It's a somber reminder that the fight for human fraternity can come at a heavy price.
Yeah, it's a powerful reminder that the pursuit of peace and justice can be incredibly dangerous. And yet, amidst this tragedy, we also see incredible resilience and hope.
You're absolutely right. It makes our final winner's story even more remarkable. Meet Heman Bekele, a 15-year-old inventor who developed a cost-effective soap to prevent and treat early-stage skin cancer.
Think about that for a second. A teenager, driven by compassion and ingenuity, creating a solution with the potential to impact countless lives. His story really challenges us to reconsider what's possible, regardless of age.
And get this, the soap is already being trialed at Johns Hopkins Bloomberg School of Public Health. His goal is to use the prize money to build a hospital in his home country, Ethiopia.
It's a beautiful example of paying it forward, using his success to lift up his community, but also makes you wonder if a 15-year-old can achieve this, are we as adults doing enough to address these global challenges?
That's such a thought-provoking question. Maybe this young innovator is showing us that sometimes. It takes a fresh perspective, unburdened by traditional approaches to make real breakthroughs.
Exactly. And it highlights another crucial aspect of human fraternity, empowering future generations to become agents of change.
So we've met these incredible individuals, each embodying the spirit of human fraternity in their own unique way. But to really understand the significance of this event, we need to zoom out a bit. The Vatican News article also features an interview with Archbishop Christoph Elkassis, the Holy See's representative to the UAE.
Right. This interview sheds light on the UAE's growing role in promoting interfaith dialogue. It's interesting because for some, the UAE might seem like an unlikely champion for this cause. It's a relatively young country with a predominantly Muslim population. Yet they've embraced this document, which calls for respect and understanding between all religions.
It's almost like they're saying, look, interfaith dialogue is not a threat to our identity. It's an opportunity for growth and connection.
Precisely. The Archbishop even highlights how the UAE has become a hub for these kinds of initiatives, fostering dialogue and cooperation between different religious groups.
And this isn't a sudden development. He points out that the UAE and the Holy See have been building diplomatic ties since 2007, with a significant boost after the Pope's visit in 2019. They've even created something called the Abrahamic Family House in Abu Dhabi, where a mosque, a church, and a synagogue stand side by side.
Imagine the powerful symbolism of that. It's an architectural testament to the possibility of unity amidst diversity.
So from hosting the signing of the document on human fraternity to creating spaces like the Abrahamic Family House, the UAE is making a conscious effort to walk the walk, not just talk the talk.
Exactly. They're not just paying lip service to these ideals. They're actively creating an environment where interfaith dialogue and understanding can flourish. But what's driving this commitment? Is it purely altruistic, or are there strategic motivations as well?
That's a great question. On the one hand, the UAE is an incredibly diverse country, with people from all over the world calling it home. Promoting tolerance and understanding between different faiths and cultures is essential for maintaining social harmony and stability.
Right. It's in their own best interest to foster a climate of inclusivity and respect. But it goes beyond that. The UAE is also positioning itself as a global leader in promoting moderation and understanding. This focus on human fraternity is part of their soft power strategy.
So by championing these values on a global stage, they're enhancing their international reputation and influence. It's a win-win, really. They're contributing to a more peaceful world,
while also strengthening their own standing in the international community.
Exactly. And I wouldn't discount the genuine desire within the UAE leadership to make a positive difference in the world. Their actions suggest a sincere commitment to building bridges and fostering a more harmonious future.
Okay, so we've explored the inspiring stories of the winners, delved into the UAE's fascinating role. But what does it all mean for our listener? What's the key takeaway here? For me, it boils down to this. Human fraternity isn't just a lofty ideal. It's a tangible goal that we can all work towards, both individually and collectively.
I love that. And the Zayed Awards are proof that even seemingly small actions, driven by compassion and a belief in our shared humanity, can have a ripple effect, inspiring others and creating positive change on a global scale.
Think about it. Mottley is tackling climate change. World Central Kitchen is providing aid in war zones, and Bekele is developing life-saving technology. These diverse actions, united by a shared commitment to human fraternity, show us that change is possible, no matter what challenges we face.
It's a powerful reminder that we're not alone in this journey. There are countless individuals and organizations around the world working towards a more just and compassionate future. And each of us can play a role no matter how big or small.
Absolutely. But how do we translate these grand ideas into action in our daily lives? What concrete steps can we take to embody this concept of the human fraternity?
That's where the document on human fraternity comes in. It's not just a symbolic document. It's a practical guide for building a more humane and inclusive world. And that's what we'll explore in the final part of our deep dive. Welcome back to our deep dive into human fraternity. We've been exploring the incredible stories and the Zayed Award winners, the significance of this event, and the UAE's intriguing role in this global movement. Now let's unpack this document on human fraternity a bit further. It's been mentioned several times, but What's actually in it?
It's more than just a call for peace and understanding. This document, signed by two of the world's most influential religious leaders, lays out a vision for a world where people of different faiths and cultures can coexist harmoniously. And it offers tangible steps to get there. It really is like a roadmap to a better future.
Okay, so it's not just about feel-good sentiments. There's real substance to it. For those of us hearing about it for the first time, what are some of the key takeaways? What does it actually say?
Well, one of the core principles is the importance of dialogue. It calls for creating a culture of dialogue, where people from different backgrounds can come together, share their perspectives, and learn from each other. It emphasizes that respectful communication, even when there are disagreements, is essential for breaking down stereotypes and building trust.
That makes a lot of sense. It's about creating spaces where people can connect on a human level, rather than retreating into their own echo chambers.
Exactly. And it goes beyond just talking. The document also stresses the need for mutual respect and understanding between different religious and cultural groups. It challenges the notion that any one religion or culture is superior to another, and calls for recognizing the inherent dignity of every person, regardless of their beliefs or background.
It's about recognizing our shared humanity, right?
Uh,
Seeing beyond the labels and differences, and acknowledging that we're all part of the same, interconnected web of life.
That's at the heart of it, and it doesn't stop there. The document also calls for concrete actions to promote peace and justice. It urges us to work together to address global issues, like poverty, inequality, and environmental degradation. It's a reminder that our responsibility to one another extends beyond our immediate circles and encompasses the well-being of the entire planet.
So it's a call to action, both on a personal and global level. But let's bring it back to the individual. How can our listener, inspired by this document and the Zayed Award winners, actually make a difference in their own life?
It starts with small steps. It's about being more mindful of our interactions with others, making an effort to connect with people from different backgrounds, and challenging our own biases and assumptions. It can be as simple as striking up a conversation with a stranger, volunteering in our community, or donating to a cause we believe in.
It's about taking those principles of dialogue, respect, and action, and weaving them into the fabric of our daily lives.
Precisely. And remember, change doesn't happen overnight. It's a continuous process of learning, unlearning, and growing. The important thing is to keep moving forward one step at a time.
And to remember that we're not alone in this journey. The Zayed Awards and the document on Human Fraternity remind us that there's a global movement towards a more just compassionate and interconnected world, and each of us can be a part of it.
So true. We hope this deep dive has left you feeling inspired and empowered to make a difference, however big or small. Keep learning, keep questioning, and keep connecting with your fellow humans.
That's a wrap on this deep dive. Until next time, keep diving deep.